What will Eyota look like in the next 10 to 20 years? That's the question that was put to the Minnesota design team as they arrived on Thursday evening, April 14, 2016. That evening, the team members were introduced to their local host families that they would be staying with over the next 3 nights. During the meet and greet at the ambulance building, the team members began learning about the Eyota community, asking questions, listening, and taking notes. On Friday morning at the ambulance building, the Eyota community and design team got right to work. There were 22 presentations made discussing various needs, wants, and hopes for the future of Eyota from educators, public safety, local government, clergy, local businesses, and local organizations.
1875 is when we were incorporated.
I'm looking to open a new brewery. Eyota's a great place. It's got a lot of community vibe.
And it's got a hall that's basically can hold about 180 people, and it's currently quite tight for any community functions.
Other things that we have successes for, you're sitting in it. This is a collaboration, a union of forces.
We answer calls for service that include structure fires, auto accidents, public service calls, hazardous material calls, wildland fires, of course.
How we decided to have it in the park. We really looked at doing it in downtown Eyota.
The street dance where all the hot tamales and Mr. Goodbars come and have a great time that night.
At noon, everyone split into 4 groups for lunch at the Eyota Cafe, the high school, Arbor Gardens, and the Eyota Market. Scheduled from 1:30 to 3:45, the team took a bus tour through the entire city of Eyota.
And we're going to stop, and you're welcome to get out to take a look at the high school's new athletic field. This was a huge adventure last year, and this is our elementary school, which just this last year was added on to and improved. Wave to Scott! Rita Bell, and we're going on Everett, in this side street right here is Carol Ann. So now we're just back out on 14 because we just gotta take you around the roundabout. This is the start of West Side Park. This is all West Side Park. The trails through it.
Friday evening, the entire populace was invited to enjoy a potluck supper at the Eyota American Legion. Pulled pork sandwiches were provided, and residents were encouraged to bring a side dish or dessert to share. At 7 o'clock, Connie Miner, the local chair, kicked off the town hall meeting and then turned it over to the Minnesota design team leader, Paul Mogish. They divided the attendees into different groups and had them participate in an exercise that would help identify 5 key areas the citizenry felt were important to them for Eyota in the years to come.
Eyota will be my ideal place to live when blank. What would bring your family to downtown Eyota on a regular basis? What activities or uses do you want in a new community center? Imagine you are an eagle flying over Eyota 20 years from now. What do you see? The first 4 questions were about the town as a whole. This is about you. What can you do, or what can you contribute to the success of Eyota? This is really about envisioning the future of your community through design recommendations. And also, we want to help you identify some very specific actions that you can take.
All the questions and group answers were hung on the wall of the Legion, and everyone given stickers to place on the items they felt was the most important to them. That gave the design team a snapshot of what all the residents felt was important to them. Saturday was a big day for the design team as they took all the information they had gathered, sequestered themselves in the high school media center from 8:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. working on their vision of 4 key areas identified by the Minnesota design team for Eyota's future development. The 4 areas were Main Street downtown development, a community and event center, ways to activate existing open, private, and public spaces, and use local and regional bike trails to link Eyota to people outside the community by making it a stop or destination for everyone. Saturday evening, the public was invited to the high school auditorium for the Minnesota design team's presentation from 7 to 8:30. Each member of the design team offered up their possibilities of different areas that the city of Eyota could improve and grow in the years to come. Some of the ideas were centered around the history with the railroad and the hospitality of Eyota. A train car bed and breakfast to attract visitors was one of the proposals. The surrounding bike trails bring a lot of potential visitors by Eyota. A vision was presented to take advantage of the bike and pedestrian trails to create a pathway to the downtown for bikers and hikers. Part of Eyota's future included infill development to take advantage of current unused property and new housing projects. One of the most ambitious long-range projects would be to create Eyota's front door. This would not only be for the residents who might frequent the proposed Eagles Nest Community Center and a more family-friendly downtown, but provide a destination for visitors with the engineering feat of Lake Eyota. The lake would provide a recreation destination and help with some of the groundwater issues faced in Eyota. What will Eyota look like in the next 10 to 20 years? It's really up to you. You're the leader of Eyota's destiny, and your effort and time will give us the answer.